Are you someone who wishes to read more, but just can't find the time or motivation? As a child, I didn't really enjoy reading at all. I preferred to spend my time with my Game Boy or watching anime. But now, I read at least one book a week in addition to my full-time job as a doctor to constantly further my education. I think there's hardly any other medium besides a book that can condense the knowledge of a person's entire lifetime into a few hundred pages. Regular reading and learning will expand your knowledge and your skills. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Jeremy. I'm a doctor from Germany, and if you want to make reading a habit, then keep on watching. One of the most effective methods to read more is to make it a habit. And how do you make it a habit? I'm glad you asked. You do it by firstly enjoy reading. The good thing about being an adult with a job is that you are not forced to read certain books that are assigned to you. The school times are over. You can simply read what you feel like. As long as reading itself is not a habit of yours, you should read what interests you. Read a genre that you would also like to watch on TV. Once you have integrated reading into your everyday life, you can step your game up and read more complicated books. To form a habit, it is often necessary to let go of an old one. Instead of hanging out on TikTok or Netflix in bed at night, pick up a book in the evening. It's not only good for your knowledge, but also you notice much earlier when you are tired and when you should go to sleep. Also, set yourself a daily goal of how much you want to read. Is it a chapter? Is it 5 pages? 10 minutes? However, the goal should be realistic. An achievable goal that suits you well will be pursued more consistently. Once you've set your goal, plan when you want to reach your reading goal. In the morning at or before breakfast, during your lunchtime break, or just before bed. As long as reading is not yet a habit, you should consciously take the time until reading is automatically integrated into your everyday lifestyle. See books as an opportunity to discover new worlds, explore new ideas, and broaden your horizon. Reading multiple books at the same time. Of course, there's always a book that is so well written that you just want to devour it. You isolate yourself, you lose yourself in the book, and at the end of the day you find 300 unread messages on WhatsApp. But conversely, just as you don't want to watch the same Netflix series every evening, you can read different books for different situations. Sometimes you want to learn something and educate yourself, and sometimes you just want to lose yourself in a beautiful story and relax. And that's how I handle it. Most of the books I read are about self-development, productivity, minimalism, and finance. And I pick out the genre that I feel like that at the moment. And that brings me to my next point. And with this one, you will most definitely increase the number of pages you will read. This method may seem simple at first glance, but it's still extremely effective and can have a big impact on how you use your time. You should always have a book with you. Whether you're waiting for the bus on your way to work, waiting for your hairdresser, or have a long journey on the train ahead of you, there are always moments in everyday life that are perfect for immersing yourself in a good book. By always having a book with you, whether it's a physical book or an ebook, you can use these little breaks in everyday life that often pass unused because we don't know how to use them effectively. And let's be honest, it's always better to fill your head with knowledge than to scroll around on Instagram like a zombie, right? I myself always switch between Audible and my Kindle. When I'm doing sports, cleaning the apartment, or when I'm cooking, I will listen to audiobooks. And my Kindle, I have it for commuting, traveling, or when I'm reading just before going to sleep. I just think it's brilliant that the display is illuminated. I can read in bed without having to align my lamps for the pages. A real game changer for me. I don't really buy physical books anymore, even though I do really like flipping through a book, because it's just more fun. Books just take up so much space, and I think they are not that comfortable while reading in bed. Besides, ebooks are usually cheaper, and with my Kindle, I always have multiple books with me. And I can buy any book immediately if I needed to. If I own books physically, they were usually gifted to me. Quitting books. It is perfectly fine to quit a book if you don't like it, or if you feel it doesn't offer you any value, or you just don't enjoy it. You're in no way obligated to read a book to the end just because you started it, or just because you've paid with your hard-earned money. It is much better to spend your time with books that bring you joy, pique your interests, and offer you valuable knowledge or entertaining stories. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. You can always earn more money, but you can't create additional time. So you should use your time wisely and spend time reading books that are really worth it. And the same principle applies to other activities as well. Create a cozy reading atmosphere. A pleasant environment can make reading a relaxing experience. Everyone has their own individual idea of an ideal reading place. Maybe you like to sit on a couch with a cup of tea, wrapped in a warm blanket. Or maybe you prefer to read outside, surrounded by the peace and sounds of nature. Some people find it relaxing to read in a quiet room, while others prefer to have some background noise, like the noise of a cafe or the splashing of a lake. You could even set up a special reading corner in your home, with comfortable seating, a reading lamp, and a small table for your books and tea. It's about finding a place that is comfortable and helps you focus on the book to forget about the outside world for a while. The choice of your perfect reading place can be a decisive factor in how often and how much you do enjoy reading. So take the time to find and to design this place. It will greatly improve your reading experience and help you develop a stronger reading habit. And 2 more tips from me. Number 1, life is getting more and more expensive, and of course it's understandable that you can't buy every single book. I recommend you to register at your local library. Have a look around there. You can read many books at the same time at a low price, and that's quite practical. Number 2, reduce distractions. In today's digital world, which is constantly screaming for our attention, it's important to consciously take the time to read. To do this, it's helpful to minimize possible distractions. Make sure you remove your phone from your line of sight or switch it to airplane mode. Nothing distracts you faster than a notification popping up on your screen. But not only the smartphone can be a distraction, other environmental factors can also disturb your concentration. So make sure to have a quiet reading atmosphere. Reading books is more than just a leisure activity. It is a way to expand your knowledge, to motivate yourself, to improve your skills, and to discover new worlds and ideas. By making reading a habit and applying these tips I just mentioned, you can integrate more books into your life and make the most of this valuable resource. If you want to reach your full potential, you should click on this video. I hope you're doing well. I hope you learned something. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Jeremy Tuesday. Peace.